coming up on the February 27th edition of Sports Extra. The men's basketball team is back on the road tonight, and we go live to Charlottesville before the big game.
If you've been to a home basketball game this season, you'll probably recognize this face.
And the Diamond Heels kept their streak alive with another sweet sweep. All that and so much more. Sports Extra starts
right now.
From the University of North Carolina School of Journalism and Mass Communication, covering the full range of Tar Heel athletics, this is Sports Extra.
It was another busy weekend in Carolina athletics, and we will cover all the bases in just 30 minutes. Welcome to Sports Extra. I'm Caleb Waters.
And I'm Rivers Upchurch. Thanks for joining us. Now, Caleb, one group that has been especially busy lately, well, that'd be the men's basketball team. Game tonight in Charlottesville. Thoughts on the game so far?
Yeah, so for tonight's rematch against the Wahoos, it's going to be tonight. Obviously, it will probably be a lot different than the game that was here in Chapel Hill, and the Tar Heels won pretty big, and that win sort of cemented the Tar Heels spot as an elite team in the ACC. I expect to see a lot more defense from Tony Bennett's UVA team, and it will be probably a lot lower of a scoring game than it was here in Chapel Hill. Rivers, your thoughts?
Well, probably a higher score from Virginia. I would be surprised if they scored only 41 points again, but second time playing a good team in 10 days it's going to be a tough one.
I agree, it will be. And that game tips off tonight at 7 p.m. But before that, before we get into the details of those games, we take a look at how the Heels got into this position during the past week, starting with the Louisville Cardinals. In a top 10 ACC matchup, Theo Pinson and Justin Jackson powered the Tar Heels to victory against Louisville with acrobatic layups like that 360 and some very friendly rims, helping them combine for 34 points. And Louisville's shooting struggles were also a key as the Heels rolled to a 74-63 victory. Then on Saturday, the Heels traveled to Pittsburgh, and Justin Jackson strengthened his case for ACC Player of the Year, hitting 3 after 3. That one from NBA range after 3. He finished the night with 23 points. And the big man, Kennedy Meeks, had an impressive 10th double-double of the season, showing off his spin move there. He finished with 18 points and 10 boards. Then following this scramble for the ball, Meeks to Jackson for the exclamation point. It could have been a trap game, but the Heels are going to go on to win this one easily, 85-67. So that is 2 great wins for the Tar Heels, and we have analysis to break it all down. First, John Assetti here in studio. John, Carolina looks to be peaking at the right time.
I could not agree more, Caleb. Carolina's win over Pittsburgh in the Steel City was their most impressive of the year, especially considering that it was away from home. Now, in Raleigh, a place where Carolina has experienced some scares, UNC never let the pack come close, which is critical when playing in a hostile environment. The Heels dominated in the paint, outscoring State 60-22 down low and grabbing a 41-25 rebounding advantage. That disparity led to 27 second chance points and an easy Carolina victory. And on Saturday at Pittsburgh, the Heels were unfazed as they faced an emotional Pitt team on Senior Day. Even after the Panthers went ahead by 6 early on, UNC kept cool under pressure. The Heels got another dominant performance on the glass and shot 41% from downtown. Talk about nerves of steel. It was Carolina's best road performance of the season. And with that win against the Panthers, Carolina clinched the #1 seed in the upcoming ACC tournament. The tournament starts on March 7th, but the Heels won't play in Brooklyn until the 9th, having clinched the double bye and top spot in the bracket no matter what happens this week. Now, Carolina has not clinched the regular season crown outright just yet. Notre Dame and FSU can still share the championship with 2 wins apiece and 2 UNC losses. But if the Heels win either of the next 2 games, they'll be back-to-back undisputed ACC champs.
Well, if I was a betting man, I'd put my money on the Tar Heels. John Assetti in studio. Thanks, John.
And now to talk us through tonight's contest, we go live to Lindsay Sparrow in Charlottesville. Lindsay, what's the challenge look like tonight?
Well, if you can see behind me, some students are starting to line up for the game, but tonight is the game, 2 times in 10 days that Carolina and Virginia have matched up. And a lot has happened between those 2 teams in the past 10 days, but let's look at what the Cavaliers have been doing, or should I say what they have not been doing. Falling in 3 of their past 4 games, the Hoos have not been able to get the ball into the basket. In those 3 losses, the Hoos didn't score more than 56 points, averaging about 34% from the field and only 19% from behind the arc. However, they came down to North Carolina to face the Wolfpack on Saturday, and freshman guard Kyle Guy decided, you know what, enough was enough. He scored 19 points for the Hoos, draining 5 threes. Look at this jump in shooting percentage. They shot about 50% from the field and almost 70% from the three. Quite the difference from their past few games. After the win against NC State, UVA junior Isaiah Wilkins said, guys, hot shooting helped the Cavaliers regain their rhythm. So the real question for tonight is if they are back to normal and have their rhythm back, or if they just beat an inferior NC State team.
Well, Lindsay, based on their performance on Saturday, what should the Heels expect from UVA tonight?
Well, Rivers, UNC hasn't won here in Virginia since February of 2012. And I don't think the Hoos are going to go down tonight without the fight. And I think there are two things that the Heels need to focus on. And the first is defensive physicality. It will come down to cleanly pulling down defensive rebounds, allowing UNC to move quickly into transition and give them the opportunity to control the tempo of the game, leading to the most important thing for the Heels tonight, capitalizing on every single play. UVA head coach Tony Bennett and his team are going to try again to slow down the Heels, a tactic that was not as effective as they would have liked 10 days ago. The Heels were able to adjust to the pace and will have to do that again tonight. So I think that if the Heels can play their game, stay focused, they'll be able to come out with their second victory against Virginia this season. And with that victory, they'll be able to clinch outright the ACC title. Rivers, back to you.
Lindsay Sparrow live in Charlottesville in the suspicious blue and orange outfit. Thanks, Lindsay.
If you think you're Carolina's biggest fan, think again. Peyton Walker highlights a Tar Heel who just might outshine us all.
If you've been to a Carolina sporting event, there's one fan who's probably caught your eye. She's Glitter Girl.
I went to a game and it had been on my bucket list to paint up for a game. Once I painted up, I realized there was no going back. It's the only way to experience sports, in my opinion. And so then I just started getting more and more blue, and then added glitter and headpieces, and it just became part of who I am.
And a look like this attracts some attention.
Some people recognize me. I've gotten to be in like Sports Illustrated and ESPN, and Justin Jackson on the first day of class, he knew that I was the girl who painted up, which was pretty cool. I made stickers of myself so that people can kind of recognize me on campus because it's on the back of my phone. So it's kind of like, hey, but I'm like Glitter Girl, you know?
But behind all this glitter is a much bigger story.
Through the years, like through my teenage years, I really went through a very dark period of my life where no glitter was involved, you know? So throughout the recovery process, I really started to find, you know, myself and my identity and embrace the awkward. That's like my life saying, but just like learning to accept myself and love myself as I am. And part of that is, you know, if I like myself and I'm happy with who I am, then it doesn't really matter what other people think of me.
In other words, don't let anyone dull your sparkle. In Chapel Hill, I'm Peyton Walker, reporting.
And we do know that Alex, aka Glitter Girl, will have a ticket to the Duke game, but if you're buying one for this Saturday's matchup, you might need to be careful. Brett Thompson tells us about growing concerns related to the authenticity of basketball tickets.
This is Chris Neal. He's a member of the UNC class of 2010, a manager at Blue Horn Lounge, and a die-hard basketball fan. Last February, Neal bought tickets to the Duke game at the Dean Dome, except when he tried to scan his in, it was denied.
They looked as like the ones that you would print off from GoHeels.com or, you know, the site where you buy them. They looked like the print-off tickets. They were colored, had the barcode on them. Nothing indicated to me that they were fake.
Counterfeit tickets are a growing issue surrounding men's basketball games. They look identical to real tickets, but contain fake locations or false barcodes. According to Gary LaJoy from the UNC ticket office, officials confiscated more than 20 tickets at the UVA game here. And this weekend, police arrested Durham resident Adam Sanchez for attempting to sell fake tickets for the upcoming Duke game. While scams can occur anywhere, Neal learned about the one place where the practice is especially prevalent.
I bought them on the steps of the Dean Dome.
Now it's these steps behind me and the surrounding areas where scalpers like to set up before games, looking for fans who are desperate to get in, sometimes at a hefty price. And while there are ticket resale laws in the state of North Carolina, none involve the proximity of these scalpers to the venue itself. Both LaJoy and DPS spokesperson Randy Young stressed that customers should avoid scalpers and buy tickets through UNC or its official resale partner, StubHub. They are the only places you can be guaranteed your ticket will work. If you choose to buy from a scalper, though, Neal has some advice from his experience.
If you're going to buy it off the street, you know, be very credible. I wouldn't pay over face value, and I'd make them walk up with me to the gate to make sure I got in.
And if a deal seems too good to be true, it probably is. In Chapel Hill, I'm Brett Thompson reporting.
Young insisted that if you hear or see anything about counterfeiters, report it to DPS immediately. And when we come back, the Diamond Heels were gloving life this weekend.
Carolina alum and Met star Matt Harvey had better watch out because he might have some competition soon.
I'm Anne. I'm a scientist.
Recycling takes a team.
Why don't you let me and me help you out?
Everyone plays a part. Don't trash
I love taking stuff apart and building new things out of it.
what could be treasure.
Pal's my most advanced android. This is awesome. You haven't seen anything yet.
Give your cardboard box another life. Recycle.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
Fancy pants peanut butter? A big screen television? You haven't even bought a sofa yet. A motorcycle? When your father finds out, he's gonna flip his shoes with 2 buckles? What do you even need 2 buckles for? Mr. Big Shot, buying whiskey shots for everybody in the bar. From the looks of it, I'd say nobody even remembers. Feed the pig.
Hey, Brett, what's going on with those wrestling highlights?
You know what? I'm just waiting on the inspiration. I promise I'll get those back to you soon, right?
All right, get to it.
Yeah.
I just moved in with his family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. Oh, poop already! You're making me nervous.
The Diamond Heels face off against the Radford Highlanders in the second home series of the season, and it went a lot like Carolina's first home series of the season. UNC's J.B. Bukowskis and Radford's Zach Ridgely were locked in a pitching duel through 7 scoreless innings before the Heels got on the board in the bottom of the 8th. Carolina's Brian Miller hit a 2-out, 2-run dinger to give Carolina the lead, and UNC's Josh Hyatt picked up his NCAA leading 4th save on the mound, giving the Heels a 2-0 win. And Carolina took yet another dub at the Bosch on Saturday, this time defeating Radford 9-3. The Heels took control early with 4 runs in the second inning and added another 3 in the third. Freshman Ashton McGee had 3 hits in his first career start, while sophomore Kyle Daughtris drove in 4 runs, leading the Tar Heels to their 6th win of the season. And in the series finale on Sunday, the Heels made it a lucky number 7, and they were white hot. Freshman pitcher Luca Delatry's 15 Ks were the most by a Carolina pitcher in a single game since Matt Harvey in 2010. Despite a late rally by Radford, UNC remains undefeated with a 7-5 win, and the Heels get their 2nd straight series sweep.
Now, Rivers, help me out here. Finish this quote. I'm not superstitious,
but I am a little stitious. Those are the wise words of legendary Dunder Mifflin regional manager Michael Scott.
Of course.
And while UNC athletes, they might not be superstitious.
Now, they may be a little stitious. Cam Neuwirth has the story.
For centuries, sports and superstitions have gone together like milk and cookies. And the Carolina men's basketball team, well, they like trading dunking the basketball for dunking a cookie every once in a while.
No, we don't step on the MC, the logo in the middle of the floor.
But could something as simple as stepping on a logo in the middle of the floor really affect the team's performance? Men's basketball manager Tyson Creech says he's not testing it.
No, I don't break the superstition. When I just go in the locker room, I'm like, oh, you can't step on the logo and just steer clear. It's a pretty big time thing. It's kind of just a really random thing, but obviously it's very important because apparently a few years ago there's a manager who stepped on it, and we ended up actually losing that game. and it really shouldn't have happened.
And the importance of superstitions just can't be understated. Sometimes players just get hot and they gotta keep rolling.
I always put my Evo shield on first, put my left batting glove, my right batting glove, get in the box, point my bat at the pitcher, come back, and then it makes me relax.
So where do these athletes get some of their superstitions? Do they just form out of mere air? Well, sometimes they're just passed down through the family.
My dad played college ball at Guilford College, and my brother played at UNC Asheville, and it's just like a family thing. Like, that's what my dad did, that's what my brother did, so just following the family tradition.
Carolina women's soccer player Nicole Crutchfield shared her team's rather odd ritual, performed at midnight before the team's home opener.
We just mark our territory. I can't really elaborate on it, but we made it to the Final Four this year.
And I'm not going to elaborate on that either. In Chapel Hill, I'm Camden Newer, reporting.
Here at Sports Extra, our only superstition involves the number 13, and more about that a little later in the show.
The softball team put together a successful weekend, sweeping all 4 games in the Carolina Classic, but not without some late-inning drama. Let's start Friday night against the Towson Tigers. The Tigers were up a run in the bottom of the 7th until number 27, Berlin De La Mora, comes up to bat, and it's out of here. The sophomore ties the game up with her 2nd homer of the season, and then Carolina took home the W with this sac fly from freshman Haley Cole in the bottom of the 9th. Runner coming in from 3rd, throw to the plate, it's going to be close, she slides, she's safe. Tar Heels win 6-5. And Saturday against Miami of Ohio, Carolina trailed 7-2 in the bottom of the 7th, but the Heels rallied. Sophomore Leah Murray hits this RBI single that ties the game at 7, and Taylor White was up next. And the junior drew the rare walk-off walk. A bases-loaded base on balls brings home the game-winning run. UNC stuns the Redhawks 8-7. And Carolina played a doubleheader on Sunday. Fast forward to the 5th inning with the Heels up 3-2. Taylor White sends this 2-run bomb over the fence. Dinger! Teammates loving what they're seeing. 2 batters later. This is not going to be a replay, folks. Kendra Lynch hits her own 2-run shot to center field. Dinger! The very next batter after her, will that be Katie Bailiff, and she wants in on the action. Dinger party! Carolina cruises to an 8-3 victory. And in the last game of the Carolina Classic, the Heels bats were smoking. The highlight of this game was senior Kendra Lynch's dinger in the bottom of the 2nd inning. That was Lynch's 2nd home run of the day, and Carolina went on to win the game 8-2, finishing off the weekend undefeated. The Heels are now 10-4.
I think he had a little too much fun with that one. Senior night was a success for UNC's gymnastics team. The Heels beat William and Mary by more than 4 points for the team's 5th consecutive win this season. The Tar Heels swept the scoreboard as Carolina gymnasts took the top 3 placements in beam and floor. Madison Nettles placed 1st in bars with a career-best performance of 9.875, and Morgan Lane received a meet high and near-perfect score in floor before winning the all-around competition once again. Senior Christina File said she couldn't be happier with her team and her final season at UNC.
Ever since that first meet, we just took off and kept building and building, and that's something I kind of haven't felt in these 4 years. And so to feel that now, it's super exciting, especially with this group of girls. I couldn't ask for anything more.
And the gymnastics team will be back in action Saturday when the Heels travel back to William and Mary for a rematch of this weekend's duel.
L is for loser, and this weekend L was also for lacrosse.
The men's and women's lax teams both took their first L of the season.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
Music is a bridge between the material and the spiritual.
As a blind person, you have to be aware that nobody can tell you what you can or can't do. You really have to try things. My wife, who was also blind, was a good cook. When she died, that's when I started Meals on Wheels. My name is Harvey Lauer. America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
NC State fans packed into Reynolds Coliseum on senior night to support their women's basketball team as they destroyed the Tar Heels by 20. Number 18, NC State jumped ahead early, building a comfortable lead that they held onto for the remainder of the game. Despite a game-high 25 from Jamie Cherry, the Heels struggled putting points on the board without Stephanie Watts and Destiny Walker, both out with injuries. Wolfpack seniors carried the team as they continued to knock down three after three. After three, Carolina comes away with the loss 80-60. And on Sunday, the team played another rivalry game against Duke. The Blue Devils gained an early lead that Carolina could not shake, and the threes from Cherry, Smith, and Key, well, they just wouldn't be enough to keep up with Duke's defense. As turnovers and block shots turned into easy points for the Devils. A victory for Duke and a tough end to a tough regular season for the Tar Heels. Duke 95, Carolina 71.
In women's lacrosse, Saturday, the Heels took on Maryland in a rematch of the 2016 National Championship game. Maryland went on a 3-0 run early and held the lead for the rest of the game with goals like this one in the second half. The Terps continued to have success with this goal from Caroline Wannen, and despite a 4-1 run by the Heels at the end of the game, Carolina couldn't complete the comeback, losing 13-10. And that unlucky number 13 showed up again on Saturday when men's lacrosse hosted Johns Hopkins for a top 5 matchup on a beautiful Saturday afternoon. But unfortunately, those blue skies quickly turned to gray clouds for the Heels. And the stands were packed as fans came to see the number 3 Heels host the number 4 Blue Jays. UNC had won 9 of the past 10 games between the two teams, but the Blue Jays led this matchup from start to finish. Carolina did manage to score a few goals, but Hopkins goalie Gerald Logan was on fire with huge saves like that one there, and the Blue Jays defeated the Heels 13-5.
Although the Tar Heels face defeat this weekend, they do know what it's like to win big time. Emily Wakeman caught up with Chris Cloutier to talk about his breakout tournament in 2016.
There was a minute and 39 seconds left in overtime when Chris Cloutier made history. He scored the winning goal against Maryland in the 2016 National Championship game.
I tell everyone, I blacked out right after that. I'm still a little iffy on what happened right after that. We all celebrated.
The UNC men's lacrosse team had entered the tournament unseeded and walked away national champions.
I think for everybody it was kind of, the joy. You can't even describe the joy.
Sophomore attacker Cloutier was the force that no team could reckon with during the tournament. He broke the record for the most goals scored in a tournament game with 9 against Loyola in the semifinals.
It's something that you dream of as a kid.
Cloutier said there's more pressure this season as the reigning national champions, but he has continued to perform in the first games of the season. Cloutier has been the second highest scorer on the team with 6 goals in the first 4 games.
Right now, we're still working on the chemistry between our offense. Right now, it's still early in the season. We got a lot of new guys.
The Heels have difficult matchups ahead, playing Maryland, Duke, Virginia, and Syracuse in a row. But Cloutier said the goal is to stay in the moment.
We are the 2017 team. We're not looking back at the national championship anymore. We're moving forward.
Moving forward might just mean back to the championship for the Heels. In Chapel Hill, I'm Emily Wakeman reporting.
Next up, Cloutier and the Heels face the Denver Pioneers in the Mile High City on Saturday.
And it was also a disappointing weekend for the fencing teams at the ACC Championships in Durham. The women's team went 1-2 for a third-place finish. The big highlight came from freshman foil Wei Chi Chen, who upset the individual foil champion Sabrina Macialis from Notre Dame. And in the men's individual meet, junior epee Matthew Schleimek was the lone bright spot for the Heels, making it to the semifinals of his competition. Next up for Carolina is NCAA Regionals on March 11th. And UNC's furriest friend celebrated his birthday, the Big 2-9.
We show you some real party animals next.
The color in my garden keeps the pink in my cheeks. I was very independent and thought I could take care of myself. I fell and I had to have Meals on Wheels. They're my savior. My name is Lola Silvestri. America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie and then wham-bam minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate, and it's worn like a badge of honor with good reason. Because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
You know, some days you're just really feeling it. You know you're on.
And for UNC men's tennis, Jack Murray went 5 sets but came out the victor with a final scoreline of 7-5, 6-4, 4-6, 6-7, 7-6.
Other days, not so much.
And that was Sports Extra's exclusive interview with UNC basketball legend, Mikel Jordan.
What?
Yeah, we're gonna switch it up. Sorry, buddy. Hey, don't take it personal. Come on, just focus up. We'll get him next week.
Focus.
We're gonna be all right.
All right, we'll come back in 5, 4,
Ready?
3.
In almost every athletic event, someone's contributions go unnoticed.
On Sunday, the biggest unsung hero of them all had his birthday. Daniel Willenzik has the story.
No matter the school and no matter the sporting event, mascots always show up and have tremendous enthusiasm. They're the ultimate team players, not caring who knows who they are, instead just wanting to get the crowd as hype as possible.
I've never really been the type of person that wants to be the center of attention, which makes it a really unique opportunity because you get to be the center of attention without people really knowing.
This job, or privilege as they call it, can provide incredible opportunities during the 4 years of their college careers, ranging from the trips they go on.
I was able to also go to the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8 in Philadelphia that year to watch us beat Indiana and Notre Dame, and to be able to send the Heels to the Final Four was something that was a really incredible experience, that certainly something I won't forget.
To even getting a chance to meet representatives from the Jordan brand.
Things I did was after one of the games, we went and took photos with these new Jordans that had the Rams on them, which was pretty fun. They were using them.
One current Ramses had one thing to pass down to the next generation of mascots. It would be to be yourself.
Every one of us has, molded ourselves to becoming the Ramses character. We all know and understand that we're sacrificing a little bit of ourselves for Ramses, but at the same time, you have to add your own unique personality set to the position. And I think that that's one thing that's helped me really, really, really grow as a person.
Ramses, I hope you had a great birthday, and here's to many more to come. In Chapel Hill, I'm Daniel Willenzik reporting.
Well, a very happy birthday to Ramses indeed. Now, Rivers, you don't happen to have any experience as a mascot, do you?
Well, funny you should ask, Caleb. I was the mascot for the minor league baseball team, the Lexington Legends, single A baseball in Lexington, Kentucky. I played Big L, who was a ginormous baseball player with a probably 4-foot tall head.
So about the same sizes.
Yeah, probably pretty similar. I could fit it comfortably though. But I mean, I had some good times as a mascot, but. I'm glad that I've moved on to bigger and better things.
Well, we will try and find some footage of that, but that does it for this edition of Sports Extra.
Thanks for watching. Have a good night.